This has been eating away at me for years. I haven't told a soul except my husband and my therapist. But I can't carry this weight anymore. Maybe putting it out into the void will help me breathe again. This is long, it's messy, it's real, and it's not easy to write. In 33F now, had a high school sweetheart, Evan. We met when I was 15. He was 16. Evan was sweet, funny, charming in a dorky way, the kind of boy who brought me flowers from his mom's garden and wrote me poems that made no sense but made my heart melt anyway. We were inseparable, best friends who fell into love like it was inevitable. We talked about marriage, kids, our future. We lost our virginity to each other. It was awkward, full of giggles, and very us. I thought I'd marry him. I thought we were forever. Then Evan went to college. He got into a huge state university, 4 hours away. I stayed behind to finish senior year. The first few weeks were hard, but we called every night. He swore nothing would change. Then slowly, things started to shift. He stopped calling as much. He was always busy, or at a study group, at 11 p.m. He stopped visiting as often, and when he did, he seemed distant. Like he was always looking over my shoulder. I found out he had joined a frat, a party-heavy, stereotypical one. I had my suspicions he cheated. I'd see random names pop up on his phone. He started hiding messages, changing passwords. I confronted him once. He cried, said I didn't trust him, gaslit me into apologizing. I held on. I was young and terrified of letting go of someone who had been my world. I thought love meant fighting through anything, even when it was only me fighting. Then I went to college, a small liberal arts school, quiet, peaceful. My roommate dragged me to a party during orientation week. That's where I met Aiden. Aiden was nothing like Evan. He was quiet, introspective, a little awkward, but magnetic. We talked about books, music. He actually listened. It felt safe. We became close friends, study buddies. I told Evan about him. He was indifferent. One night, Aiden and I were studying late. 1 glass of wine turned into 3. 1 laugh too long, 1 look that lingered, and we kissed, just a kiss. But in that moment, everything shattered. I pulled away, ran to the bathroom, and cried. The next morning, I told Evan. He drove down that day. I told him everything. I was sobbing. I told him I felt guilty. I didn't know who I was anymore. He sat in silence. Then he said the coldest words I've ever heard. Well, now we're even. I didn't understand. He looked me dead in the eyes and said, I cheated on you. More than once. Freshman year, and this year. They didn't mean anything either. But at least now I don't feel guilty. I couldn't breathe. My knees literally gave out. He had been cheating for over a year with sorority girls, random hookups. One girl he saw for months. All while I stayed loyal. I cried myself to sleep. Wrote love letters. Sent care packages. And he had been lying to my face. I broke up with him right there. I walked away and didn't turn back. But that wasn't the end. He spiraled, started texting me constantly. Emails, Facebook messages. 1 minute apologizing, the next calling me a slut. He told our mutual friends I cheated first, that I was the reason we broke up. Half believed him, the other half didn't know what to think. He even messaged Aiden, told him I had STDs, not true, that I was emotionally unstable, that I used him to make Evan jealous. Aiden stood by me, and we did eventually start dating for real. We took it slow. He held me when I had panic attacks, when I woke up crying in the middle of the night. He never made me feel like I was broken, but I wasn't done paying for my mistake. Evan's mom sent me a letter, a handwritten letter. How could you destroy my son? You were like a daughter to me. She knew about his cheating. Boys make mistakes, she said, but I was the villain because I kissed someone. Because I left. I carried that guilt for years. Aiden and I got married 5 years later. We're expecting our second child. He knows everything, every detail, and he never made me feel less than. I still have nightmares sometimes. About Evan, about that kiss. I think what haunts me most is not the kiss. It's that I let someone treat me like I was disposable. That I begged him to love me while he was laughing with someone else in his bed. It took me a long time to forgive myself, not just for the kiss, but for staying when I should have walked away. If you're in a relationship that makes you question your worth every day, please leave. Love should never feel like you're drowning alone. And to Evan, if you ever read this, I forgive you, but I'll never forget. And I'll never let anyone do to me what you did again. Thanks for letting me get this off my chest.
So I am 23, broke up with my GF F22 over the messages I saw on her phone. We dated for 3 years, and I never really went on her phone, but I had suspicion that she was being shady since she would always go through my phone and suspect me of cheating. Never did. And when I looked through her phone, I found messages with older guys planning meetups, which she said she never followed through on, and nudes sent to them for money. I broke up with her and needed time to reflect and be myself, where she told me to mutually promise that we don't hook up with anyone also. Found out she hooked up a dude 1 to 2 months into the breakup.
From the very start of our relationship, you lied. I gave you the time and the grace to come forward and be honest. Then when it finally came out, you made me the problem. You're always so busy and set time to go places and do things with your friends, and I've left in this relationship. Have an evening with you, that is it. Your stories always change when you tell me things. And then you lash out when I ask for clarity. Every time you go to do something with your friend, you're apparently leaving your car or her car somewhere, and you ignore me. I realize now every time she's taking you somewhere, so you can meet with the person you're hiding. Every time I want honesty, he twisted him, manipulated, and treat me like shit. Is it your hopes that I just give up on our relationship to make it easier for you, 'cause you're too cowardly to notice how all your actions show more than your words?
You can creating problems out of nothing and making fights so you can push me away. I have conflict to run off somewhere else, honestly. Do you even know who the father is of the child that's growing inside your stomach right now? It sickens me that you can't just be a decent person and tell the truth. No one goes to the extent of making someone feel worthless and unloved like you do if there wasn't something else going on. And all due time, things do come out. And clearly, the other guy involved is well aware of me. So what do you tell him?
For starters, I, 20 female, met through work, as that is a very important piece of the story. He asked me out 1 week into us talking. We were in Hawaii, but 2 months as a couple's trip, and nonetheless, we were so good. Until we came back. We came back and start spending every single day together. We would be in my car and my house, as he doesn't have either or, and I never really cared. He claimed he never had any girlfriends or cousins, which was I found strange, because I would see pictures of girls on his iMessages, like notifications, and I brought it up, and it would always go to, they are just a family friend or cousin. He would claim it wasn't anything like that, so whatever, I dropped it. Fast forward to us now. This morning, I had that women's intuition and went through his phone to see him texting someone about cuddling and this and that. This was before come to my house and spending the whole weekend with me. ... My thing was, he was so open about how he doesn't cheat, hates cheaters, worshipped the grounds I walked on. What sucks is I wish this didn't happen. BC, I have so much love for him. Just wish he didn't betray it. I am so stuck and hurt and feel like I'm not enough. Regardless, he is still trying to get me back and say it was all a mistake and he'll do anything. I don't know what to do. Heart is telling me one thing and mind is telling me the other. Also, mind this. The day we first ever hung out, he was talking about how his recent ex cheated on him. Also works with us, and so does the girl he was recently texting right now. So I just don't get it. He pursed me, wanted me, yet now saying he hasn't been happy or feel love when he hasn't been saying anything about him not feeling loved or that, what, and just trying to win me back, but would I make the biggest mistake of my life going back to him? So I, M28, met this girl, F25, online like 2 years ago. We hit it off pretty good and I liked her. We were in love and she also was talking about marriage, kids, and all that stuff right from the beginning. Honestly, that wasn't weird at all since we talked about that stuff before we actually met. Given the circumstances, I was pretty serious about this girl, and I stopped talking to other 2 girls I was seeing. The thing is, a month after we met, I had to travel outside the country. For the context, we weren't in a relationship yet, since I didn't ask her specifically, even though for the context, well, let's get back to the story. So the time I was abroad, she was telling me how much she misses me and how much she loves me, but a bit excessive in my opinion. I asked her if she was seeing somebody else, like at our second date, just to know what to expect. She swore I was the only guy she was seeing. One afternoon, she tells me she was going to meet a friend, M, of hers. They ended up going to her house. A gut feeling told me something wasn't right. Anyways, I tried not to think too much about it, but couldn't sleep all night. Sometime between 2 and 3 in the morning, I got a text from her asking if I was okay, because I didn't say anything to her all night. Next days, before I came back, she kept teasing me about how she was still single and anyone could steal her. I suspected more. Anyway, so I came back. There was some paperwork to do with his last ex-girlfriend, another one different. So supposedly, the internet provider told them they had to deliver the router in person and had to sign the contract termination. That afternoon, she didn't answer any messages or calls. When she arrived home, she said she didn't hear anything. I don't believe her. I called her multiple times, and also she has a smartwatch, and that she couldn't answer either since the ex tried a love declaration to win her back, and it would be rude to answer in that moment. My suspicions were through the roof. That night, we argued very bad, to the point of almost breaking up. She ended up admitting that she slept with his friend while I was traveling. That was a betrayal to me. She knew I was suspicious about this guy. In the past, they hooked up. So I was not comfortable at all when she told me they were going to her house. The worst part is, she even introduced me to this guy and almost brought him into our home. I know we weren't together at that time, but you just can't talk about wedding and that stuff and then go sleep with somebody else. She swears that it's the only time something happened. But as you can understand, I don't believe her. It's been over a year, and I still don't believe her. And everything else she says and swears nothing happened, I just can't believe her. I don't know what to do. I love her, and she swears that was the only time that something happened. But everything is so fishy, and time just goes by, tried to get over it, but lies and betrayal is something that is beyond me. She keeps saying that she was naive back then, she came from an open relationship, and that she didn't know she was doing wrong. I just don't buy it. Also, she cheated in the past. Red flag, I know. The truth is, she changed and tried to be the wife I want by my side. But I don't know if I'll be ever able to drop my suspicions and trust her again. Should I trust her, or should I break up with her? Looking for some female perspective on this one, but all comments welcomed. M male, 45, and have been with my fiancé, 45, for about 25 years, with a 4-year break earlier on. We do get along good on the daily, but she's clearly not even a little attracted and hasn't been for some time. She must be effing blind, as the best I get is a drunk pity shag every 4 to 6 weeks. But I'm past the point of sulking, as that's weak and even less attractive. So I swallow the bitterness and pride and carry on, for now. And it's worth noting she doesn't bother shaving for me anymore. She just says, "Oh, sorry, not shaved," when we actually do get busy. But whatever, it's hardly a surprise these days. So, she goes on holiday to Australia to stay with an old friend, female, and her husband. We speak every day, and one of the days she says that her and her friend are staying in Melbourne City that night, as her friend had booked them a trailer at this funky retro rooftop trailer accommodation place. "Very cool," she says. "Check out the website." So I do, and it's a bunch of cozy, single-bed trailers with spa pools, etc. I crack a joke or two about how romantic it looks and leave it with the "have fun, talk tomorrow," typical end to the conversation. But it gets me thinking as I get wasted that night. Could she and this friend have boinked around in younger days, and the friend is being a little seductive again? The imagination runs wild for a bit, but I conclude she'll never admit it anyway, and if she's not shaved when she gets back, then I'll know for sure that nothing happened. There's no way she'd go full bush if she was cheating. Skip forward a week, and she's back and ready for the "did you miss me" pity sex. And to my lack of surprise, the sneaky bitch is shaved clean with just a little spiky regrowth. So, I leave it, but I've never really resolved it in my mind. I do think it's unlikely any guys were involved, as they weren't going to hit the town as such. They were staying at the place drinking, and she would have told me if they did go out. She's not completely full of. It's also not likely she had a threesome with her friend's hubby at any point either. 100% not her type. But 2 chicks, plenty of alcohol, and a single bed? What is the likelihood? Is this what chicks actually do? Did she shave it, knowing she'd likely her friend or someone at some point on this trip? Or is there some other possible reason that passes the logic and tests, and that a male could actually believe, why she decided in preparation that a bald one was needed? Am I crazy? Keen for the female perspective.